Yo, Wagwan and that bumble clot is that guy. Not Locks, not Nation's been requesting Bam Savage over and over and over again. So I had to drop this content on you guys today. So make sure you stay tuned and stay subscribed. Today we're talking about the XXX affiliate, the Trippy Red affiliate, Bam Savage Dreadlock edition. Let's go.
What is you doing with him? Shawty, you know that I'm handsome. Why is you wasting your time? Shawty, you know I got bands. Why is you wasting your time? Shawty, you know I got bands.
Well, I can't think I can kickflip brethren, a 666 kickflip brethren. Wagwan. This guy pushing the demonic figures, the demonic music. Today we're talking about his demonic dreadlocks, if that is even a thing. Don't get me wrong. But not it. I'm just participating. Hey, Bam Savage here looking a lot like X in the early days, to be honest. High top dreads, high top fade guaning here. Again, we see the high top fro kind of just happening. Oddly enough, I saw a video today of the world's tallest high top fade. Not even dreads, fade. So with his high top fade looking pretty lit, you can see how he kind of transitioned from this into the dreadlock phase, which he is in now. But honestly, his hairstyle would have came from this. The dread sponge would have been a great candidate to achieve locks that are looking as supreme as this right here. Basically rocking the dread fro. The first and early stages of the dreadlock game. Take time to appreciate this moment in the dread game because it doesn't last forever. So have fun with it. Don't hate it like a lot of people do and they think it's awkward and ugly. Love this stage. As Buddy's hair kept on growing, he would have ditched the sponge and been able to just more so freeform or just twist, retwist to get these kind of maintained. Obviously we see his taper and his fade still being present, and at this point we see the tips of his dreads still pretty wispy and curly, but the shaft and the nubs have definitely started to lock up. Photos like this show him later in the game once his dreads have all locked up. He's continuing with the retwists, it seems like, but he hasn't blunted any tips. Do take note of that. Depending on his technique, he could be getting these retwisted, or he could just be separating as the free form comes into play. Both could be evident here. We won't really know until we see his scalp. If the scalp does show, we know he's retwisting. If the scalp doesn't show, then more than likely not, his chances of freeforming is 100%. Obviously, he's not caring about the frizziness that comes along with his dreads. Of course, you must just accept it for what it is. Dreadlocks are frizzy. They're not all neat all the time. It is a growing stage until you kind of lessen the frizziness on your locks. You can loosen this up and tighten it up. Actually, you can tighten up these frizzy hairs basically by palm rolling. Is the best bet. I'm not a huge fan of the front taper that is happening here because this, as small as it is right now, will begin to fade back and back and back as the years come. Just something I thought I would mention there. But looking at his roots, honestly, they're looking pretty loose fitting, not really showing any signs of a retwist happening. And as he rocks his hair in random ponytails, pineapple tops, we still see that it's frizzy, and we still do not see any scalp being exposed on his hairdos whatsoever.
All of my block it is high. I hope that I never get caught. I'm robbing, finessing the plug. I'm showing these niggas no love. I'm showing these bitches no love. I just be geeked up on drugs.
Geeked up on drugs, looking like a pineapple top has dropped on his head. Man, I like to see people rocking the awkward hairstyles when it comes to dreads, because ultimately it just shows that you got the confidence in the dreadlock game. One thing I do notice with dreads and rocking hoodies is that the only way to usually get a hood on is to put the dreads over your face forwards, just like this. The standard size of dread hoods does not accommodate dreadlocks unless they're pushed forward, which ultimately is a pretty unique look if you go out there again with the confidence to rock it like this. Do notice the bleach that is present in Buddy Bam Savage's hair. He could have had his hair bleached when it was shorter. Definitely letting it grow out. He's not letting it get re-bleached at the roots. This is a plus and a bonus because it's less damaging, obviously. Kind of reminds me of Jaden Smith hairstyles. Maybe he was an inspiration to his hair because it does look pretty similar on this youngin. So I'm pretty convinced that he is free-forming this shiz, because I do not really see any signs of retwisting, interlocking, guaning at the scalp, which is a positive motion here for Bam. Rocking the visor. You don't see it very often, but visors do work quite well with dreads because you get to block the sun from your eyes, and you also get to look kind of like you're from the 90s again, rocking the visor. But I do feel they're kind of getting a comeback. I feel that if you have dreads, don't hesitate on trying out the visor because they do work great with preserving your dreadlock hairstyle. I found this picture here of Bam getting the lineup and the taper did. This is probably every other week that he'd have to go to the barber to kind of get this done. Just keep that in mind. If you are a fan of the taper, you will still have to live the barbershop life, which I got rid of out of mine because, quite frankly, I do not enjoy the barbershop lifestyle.
There's a girl in my head. Got this white girl and she all in my head. Yes, it is Batman, you know I'm brain dead. Hop in the Rari, I'm just gonna thread. Hop in my Rari, I'm just gonna spread. Slit on my wrist and you know that I bled. Yes, it is Batman, I'm repping my red. Go with your bitch and she all in my bed. Yes, it is Batman, I left her on red.
Almost with a little bit of inspiration from XXX, you can see it in his hairstyle. A lot of these rappers staying with this length with their locks. You see guys like Lil Pump cutting their locks back to this length. Guys like X really keeping their dreads around this length. Ultimately, it is the best length for men to have their dreads. One, because it's just long enough where it drops out of the baby stage, and two, because it's not so long that it's a nuisance or an extra weight to carry around on your head and your neck. So when Bam Savage comes into town with these locks being all freeform-ish and bleached, a lot of people start wondering, how do I get dreads like Bam Savage? But what I really want to say is, don't aspire to have dreads like somebody else. Bam may be holding down his hairstyle quite well, but don't aim to try and get locks just to look like Bam style or Wayne style or Pump style, because ultimately you're gonna fail and be disappointed. Just set out to get dreadlocks that are your style, and all you gotta do is make them you. Let them be. God willing, will make them form themselves. But if you're obsessed with manipulation and maintenance to the point where you're crying that you want to have somebody's dreads and you can't get them, maybe dreadlocks aren't right for you right now, because dreads are supposed to teach patience, prosperity, and understanding when you have dreads. So you got to understand the patience that comes with it. And hopefully Bam here kind of does the same with his routine. You know what I'm saying? Now I notice in this photo he actually does have a couple beads hanging in a front dread or two. Beads being a cool thing to add as accessories. Just be careful, because metal beads can rust and wooded beads can rot if you leave them in your hair for too long. Blowing O's, still getting that side taper. We are seeing some length happening in his locks now. Really cool to see the color and the fade of his bleach that he's got going on. Almost looks like a dreadhawk that he has starting to form actually. And also seems to be that his hair does fall forward rather naturally, which you will notice in your own hairstyle that it does kind of want to fall naturally forwards in the start, but as your hair gets longer and longer, it will start to want to just fall backwards because of the weight of the dreads. But with that frontal motion of the locks, you can push it to the side and have the side rocking like this. And notice as his hair is flipped over on the side, his new growth on the other side is frizzy, is untouched and unmaintained. Bonus. So as his journey continues, we will hopefully see more and more photos of his locks getting longer, hopefully more congoed up and combined, because those are the signs of strong and patient locks, to be honest. And yet alone confident locks, such as how he's rocking the forward pineapple top a little bit here as well. But I'm gonna end this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that like button down below, and of course I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. So peace out, one love. I'll see you guys around. Alakasham.
I don't know what the fuck I say.